If you've been looking at the only BMW M3 to have a V8 engine and finding yourself creeping into the classified adverts at all times of day, then listen up as we take you through our buyer's guide on what to look for and what to avoid. The E90, E92 and E93 BMW M3 were the first and last of the 4-litre naturally aspirated V8 coded engine S65. It was introduced in 2007 after debuting the same year at the Frankfurt Motor Show. The majority of early ones you'll find will be in the E92, that is the coupe with a 6-speed manual gearbox, although a 7-speed Getrag MDCT was also available from 2008. The dual-clutch gearbox would become the more popular choice, and so manual lovers may find more choice in the early M3 years. From 2008 on you will find the E90 or saloon and E93, which is the convertible. A facelift arrived in 2010, although a short crossover time means that you will see a 2010 model that could be either pre or post facelift. The competition edition became available on facelift models, which we'll go into in greater detail later in the video. There is also the 4.4 litre of the S65 V8 fitted to the GTS model between 2010 and 2011. An enlarged stroke increases the displacement. It also uses a lightweight titanium exhaust and produces 444 brake horsepower. The GTS model is noticeable by its fixed rear wing. Among a range of interior and exterior changes, there was also a very rare CRT model made with the same 4.4 litre engine, limited to just 67 examples, all of which are the saloon variant. This CRT has some of the same weight-saving treatment as the GTS, but retains many of the luxury features, blending the track-focused style with on-road comfort. For those hoping to find an estate or wagon variant of this generation M3, you will be disappointed. However, BMW did build a ute or pickup concept, but neither that nor any estate version ever made it to market. A handful have been built by custom tuners if you have a burning desire to own one though. First up, we'll cover the areas to look out for no matter what age, specification or model you are looking for. Despite the BMW's premium badge, they do sometimes build an interior that doesn't quite have the longevity you would expect from the brand, and the E90 variant is one that has suffered more significantly. Heavy touch points like the gear shifter and steering wheel can really show their age, and buttons that are broken are not uncommon. Plastics can become marked and scarred, leaving the only remedy as a replacement part. Complaints for abnormally high wear have existed since the early years of this generation M3. The seatbelt butler is also a failure point, although not as common as you may expect. Fortunately, the front seats in the M3 are unique to the model and hold up a bit better than the regular 3 Series, but can suffer from tears or clear signs of wear to the bolsters. If you find an example with a great looking interior, then it's probably had a meticulous owner, and it's a positive buying sign. A variety of electrical problems are known, including the fan resistor for cabin ventilation failing, faults with the lock-unlock function on the doors, wheel speed sensors, ABS units, pressure sensors, and if the electronic stability control light won't go off, you will likely need a whole new ABS unit. Window regulators are a very common failure, so check the windows go all the way up and down before handing over your money. The steering wheel lock can also fail, needing reprogramming. Although from our research this was less common on the M3 than the regular 3 Series, but then this could just be because fewer of them are on the road. Depending on whether the M3 you're looking at is fitted with the optional EDC, it is worth looking into refreshing the suspension struts and suspension if there's no record of doing so. An early M3 will be 15 years old and the struts will likely be compromised unless you're looking at a very low mileage example. A quick look over the width of the tyres will reveal any uneven wear that could be as a result of tired suspension on a performance car. If the vehicle has EDC, this will be a more expensive replacement, and it may be harder for you to gauge the wear on the struts, so a trip to a specialist for a quick inspection is worth it to get the most out of your M3. Low batteries can cause havoc in this generation of M3, and should be replaced if you get low voltage warnings. Pay close attention to the battery that is currently fitted. Across the production years the part numbers may differ. 2 clear differences are some have a white top sticker, others black, but check this still makes a difference in your home country. The battery also needs to be coded to the car. This essentially tells the car it has a new battery installed, as the alternator will have adjusted to charging up an older battery. Any sign of milking around the centre caps is likely a sign of corrosion from the inside out on the wheels, and will need a repair, so take a close look at the wheels before purchase. A side note is that some owners have reported higher than average tyre wear. We found conflicting information, with some people saying Continentals wore quickly and Michelins were better, others reported the opposite. If you've owned an M3 of this era, it'd be great if you could put a comment below of your personal experiences and what mix of driving you did to help others determine what would be the best to suit them. And a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this video, we also have a podcast to check out as well as the miles driven website. Next up, the engine. The 4-litre S65 V8 in the M3 produces 414 brake horsepower with an average of 21.9 miles per gallon. Acceleration differs depending on gearbox and body type, with the E90 and E92 quoted at 4.6 seconds from 0 to 62 when equipped with the DCT gearbox, and 4.8 seconds with the manual. The E93 convertible is quoted at 5.1 seconds with the DCT and 5.3 seconds with the manual. The first thing to note with all of these models is to inspect the service history for the completion of an initial run-in service at 1200 miles. This was a requirement for all model years, so see if there is a service stamp in the book for it. Second, there is an ocean of conversation online about rod bearings and the E92 M3, and there is a wide debate on which years are and are not likely to suffer. In 2011, a switch to unleaded bearings was made in an attempt to resolve the issue, although it isn't 100% clear if this has entirely resolved the problem. For peace of mind, you may just want to budget to have them replaced, unless the seller can prove it had already been done. But it'd be worth calling around local specialists for a quote and integrating it into your budget. Throttle valve actuators can fail and are not a cheap part, but a failure should be obvious when on a test drive. A faulty idle control valve should also be fairly obvious when you go to see a car, as it will fluctuate in revs rather than settle as a car should. Finally, valve cover gaskets can develop leaks, and as with any of these issues, it is worth looking through the service history to see if it's ever been replaced. For those wanting a little more from the M3 without going for the rare GTS model, there is the competition package, or in some markets, ZCP package. Available on facelift models, they are distinguishable by their wheel design and 10mm lower ride height. They also get a revision to the electronic damping control system and an M mode for the stability control. In the UK, the competition pack added £3,315 to the list price of an E92 M3 when it was new. Frozen paint, or matte paint outside of the BMW marketing language, was an option that added just shy of £1,000 to the price of a new M3. Power remained the same, but changes resulted in a faster overall car when exposed with a smooth and curving road surface. As ever, we've split our choices into two, with the budget-conscious choice being an early manual E92 coupe with either the optional EDC or some money left in the budget for a passive suspension upgrade. And although we want to stick with a manual on our expensive option, we're going to suggest a facelift saloon model with EDC and the dual-clutch DCT gearbox. Although we wouldn't blame you for picking a manual, but being as the saloon is already a much rarer choice, you may have to be a bit more flexible on colour and specification options anyway. If you like the idea of the M3, but want a little bit more space and an even bigger engine, why not check out our recent buyer's guide for the V10 Audi RS6. Otherwise, we hope you'll like and subscribe, but either way, all the best on your car shopping.